Regular meeting of the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District on November 24th, 2023 at 8 a.m. at the district's office located at 1605 Whitaker Drive, Friendswood, Texas. Scott, would you do the invitation? Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the invocation and the pledge.
God, we come to you this morning and just thank you for this opportunity to be here to lead the community and to try to protect it and keep it safe from flood. Lord, we just pray that we bless others with the blessings you bestow upon us, and that we always keep you up front in all our decision making. So it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Scott. Item 4, citizens' comments. Members of the public are invited to give comments at this time lasting no longer than 3 minutes. Comments may be general in nature or may address a specific agenda item and should be directed at the entire board. Do I have anybody from the public that would like to talk to us?
I just want to
Go ahead. Mine is very brief.
okay. I just wanted to reiterate something that some of the commenters said last time, and that was about being judicious in terms of being equitable with regional detention. And I think the example was at Wilderness Trails that, a guy with a 5-acre lot was having to do it on site and somebody adjacently 42-acre lot was not. And I just wanted to say that I think there are certain areas in Friendswood that flood all the time, chronically, and so regional detention doesn't help those areas. And I think, as we move things around, obviously we got everything out of Imperial Estates, and now we're getting rid of a lot of the troublesome properties that have flooded multiple times in Quaker's Landing. that what we really need to think about is having regional detention where it makes sense, but in an equitable fashion. Because in other words, we can't say, well, you're a big landowner and you can't make a profit if you have to have, local detention. But, that's socialism. If you say to another guy, oh, well, you've got a 5.3 acre lot, so you're rich. And so you can have detention there. So, I know some lots on Friendswood Drive have been rendered useless because of the need for detention there. So, and they've got pipe and drain under there, so I'm not exactly sure why. At any rate, so I would just ask the board to be very equitable and very democratic in terms of how they issue regional detention, which I don't know if I believe in it, but, if you're gonna do it, apply it evenly across the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Don Johnson, Friendswood resident. I was just going to briefly ask the board to consider making maybe a format change on the agenda and consolidate all citizen comments, consolidate the Friendswood citizens with the League City citizens and put them all in one place under the same rule. That would seem to be a right thing to do to me. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion action items, review and take action on Friendswood Trail, section 4B5A, final drainage plan, LJ Engineering. Do I hear a motion? Motion to approve. Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Should to be unanimous. B, review and take action on 106 Whispering Pine Avenue, revised final drainage plan, LED design engineers. Do I hear a motion? Motion to approve. Got a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Got a motion, a second. Discussion.
What changed on that, Scott? What'd you note on that
I
one?
believe their building location, parking lot size, and swell right here is exterior swell to capture, not block, existing sheep flows coming on the property. Those three things changed. So nothing too major. Provide attention in the parking lot for the increase in freight code.
Wait, over. That's all you got? Good. Good. No more comments? No more questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Linda? You guys reviewed the minutes. Is there anything on the consent agenda you'd like removed or amended? Seeing none. Do I hear a motion on the consent agenda? Motion to approve. Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Joseph, tell me what's going on.
Well, with the recent rain and stuff, everything kind of slowed down a little bit, but now they finished up the slope paving at Dunbar. And all that needs to be done there is a little bit of hydro mulching with the exposed dirt. And then we'll come back. There was two phases. It was the slope paving on the south side, and then on the north side, it was putting concrete riprap to shore up the toe wall on the existing slope paving. So we'll move in and get that going shortly. Moved into Quaker's Landing, started digging at Quaker's Landing this week. Concrete guys in, they moved back over to Mary's Creek at Baptist Church, and they're starting to do the big hard 90-degree curve. They're forming that up to get it ready to pour. On the north side of Mary's Creek, that's all been completed. It's hydro mulch, and the Kroger's detention pond has been redone, and it looks real good. I know Jim and Lonnie went and took a bunch of pictures, and so I'm getting those downloaded onto the website for everybody. I've got to look at them, but I had before and kind of in progress pictures. So take a look at that and see, and I'm going to look at it and review it and see if I got to change some stuff. Mowing crew, they've been staying busy mowing on the barge. They had another breakdown, but they continued working, but the young man on the barge, his wife went into labor, so they're gonna be gone for a few weeks, and then they'll be back. But they're already coming back up from the southernmost boundaries of the district, and they're moving back upstream and heading this way. Off of Whispering Pines, I know Mr. Gibson, tell me we went in there this past week and we cleaned up all the brush and weeds and stuff where we redid all the slopes, and it's mainly all blood weeds, dead blood weeds, and that really looks good. We have one little job out there off of O'Alvin Road on a pipe failure that goes in from the O'Alvin Road into Coyote Creek. We got that replaced last week, so that's done. So everything's moving along. Just hit and miss showers gonna slow us down here and there, but we do need some moisture to get some grass growing before winter hits. And everything that's being grass seeded now is gonna be with a mixture of ryegrass, millet, and Bermuda. And we're getting into the time of the year where your ryegrass is gonna take over. Any questions?
Questions? Got a question. Imperial? Where we at there? I'm trying to keep track of the time on that permit.
So we're still waiting on WGA to come with a solution to, for the outfall pipes and everything like that. That doesn't show a very minute at 25-year storm event. So they're trying to work that out of the model.
Got a deadline?
No, sir. Give them one though.
Work without deadlines is playing at work. Just a little ringy bell for me. Any other questions for Joseph? Don't forget to fill out your stuff y'all did this past month. Kathy?
The only report is that I got contacted by our tax collector, and she sent out the bills last Thursday, and then we're building our account back up.
Has anybody received your bill yet? I have not. You have? Nope, tax bill? Yes. Yeah, 2, 3, no? Okay. They're coming.
Friendswood ISD.
Yeah, Scott, you got anything?
Sure, we've got several projects in for review. Should be getting Friendswood Trail, Spinridge Trail 4A and 5B on the next go around. They missed the deadline on submittal, addressing some comments unfortunately, and then got several from the legacy development that's in League City. They were submitting, I think, some more Westland Ranch that just popped up yesterday as well. So staying pretty steady on reviews. Obviously, we just received WGA's comments, recommendations on the modeling criteria for the DCM revisions. So we're trying to implement that. We've addressed Bruce's comments as well. So we're working on putting that together. Our deadline on that is the end of the year. We agreed to. So.
Any questions for Scott? Friendswood. Lake City engineer, please.
Not much new to update since last meeting. Section 2 is still underway in Westland Ranch. We're in receipt of plans for the further extension of Magnolia Bayou all the way south to 517. And over time, we've seen some plats and plans for section 6A and 6B, which are the first 2 sections in what they're calling the Lakes of Westland Ranch, which is the south portion of that acreage. And then also they've got a grade and field permit, or they've achieved a grade and field permit to begin digging out to expand the pond on the Lakes of Westland Ranch property on the southern portion of the acreage. So they've started just moving dirt around We're also reviewing the formal infrastructure plans that will install structures and whatnot, but that hasn't been approved yet. But that's in a nutshell what's going on in Westland Ranch right now. Unless y'all got any questions or concerns for me.
How's Muldoon coming? It's just gonna be one lane all the way out there to McFarland?
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be expanded more than it is now.
So that's, all the egress is coming through there, huh? You're gonna do something south to 517?
So, yeah, Magnolia Bayou connecting the 517 from a Westland Ranch perspective gives them that southern access.
Okay.
That connection to Muldoon or connection to McFarland by Muldoon gives them that secondary access. I think I was talking to,
I'm trying not to smile.
I was talking to my boss a while back, and you know, he at some point he liked to petition to get portions of McFarland asphalted. So I tell you, that's in the long-term plans. I just don't know how.
Probably somewhere down in that TIA, huh?
Yeah, I'd have to revisit that. I don't recall the TIA for the Western Ranch at least requiring asphalting of McFarland, but I'll revisit it for you.
Yeah, but when that property west of McFarland starts developing, then McFarland's
McFarland's
gonna have to be improved.
McFarland.
You can't do it after, you gotta do it before. I'm just trying to help you move it along.
Okay. Well, and keep in mind, when that property to the west develops, depending on their roadway network, they may be proposing a north-south road in the vicinity of McFarland.
Probably the Bay Area is closest one that I've seen.
Right, so we'll certainly be taking a look at that from a traffic perspective, and we'll make
Once they
sure.
get farther east, you can use landing, but. Okay. Are you gonna, when I looked at the master plan proposed, some of those details showed where the outlets are and stuff. Are you guys, gonna stick with slope paving, or are you gonna let Dannenbaum do the riffraff and stuff?
I always
Me
ask for
too.
slope
Me
paving.
too. Good. Okay, so we see eye to eye on that. All
I
right.
think Rip Rap is a
Part-time thing. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
No problem.
Peggy?
Good morning. Just for clarification, to be sure we're all on the same track. Although I'm listed under League City, I understand I have been asked to give regional flood management reports.
That is correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
just wanted to be sure we were all clear on that. I can narrow it down if you wish.
Yeah. He's the engineer from League City. She's given us updates on regional floodplain management.
Okay, thank
So
you.
they're not speaking for the public, in case that's what you were inferring.
Well,
Thank you.
and if that's the case, then I'll list after him, regional floodplain management reports. Because in that way, if Peggy goes
That's your
away and they-
request.
and they get inserted a new person that.
I like the way it is now, though. Thank you. I like the way it is now. Thank you. Go ahead, Peggy.
Since I last talked to you, we've had several meetings, so I'm going to try to zip through this because I do have a report I want to give specifically from GCPD. We had the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee. It was an interesting meeting. We did not have a quorum, but we did have good attendance and good reports. I would say no surprises from Harris County Flood Control District. Teresa was there as well as Lonnie, so great representation from the district. There were, at least this point, we're being given status reports because most of the detention projects are subdivision related other than the Clear Creek federal project. So it's mostly updates on what's been reported over the past year or so since the bond has been passed. We also had an IMAC meeting that has turned out to be, and that's chaired by former Senator Larry Taylor. That's turned out to be a really interesting meeting from the standpoint of we're spending a fair amount of time talking about maritime issues. And it's mostly along the lines of how the worldwide drought has impacted maritime and how in terms of that, the supply chain is possibly impacted. And then we have an extensive discussion on the coastal Texas study, which I will report on shortly. We also had an HGAC Regional Flood Management Committee that is chaired by Michael Shannon, who works for Galveston County. And we talked about several subjects. I would say the one that's most of interest to us is about the FEMA rates and the FEMA program and discussion about where the risks are in the new risk rating system, what that means to the rates, what that means to the people, and additionally, the importance of the impact of the delay of the federal maps being released. I'm sure if you're following that, that's been a long journey, but we're getting there. So a lot of material in that area. Okay, so at the last meeting, I attempted to shorten my report and in respect to the directors who attend meetings, give them an opportunity to comment on the meetings as opposed to me doing that. That didn't quite work out as I envisioned it to. As a result of some of the things that were said after my report was given, there was a little bit of confusion and some citizens reached out to me. And specifically, one of the things that's a focus for me is not only to report to the board and give you the information you tell me you want, but also try to present it in a way that any citizens who are interested, they can reference our recordings or listen to our meetings and hopefully get clarification. So to that end, there were some things that were said, perhaps misunderstood. Because of that, I asked the GCPD to specifically give me a report on those questions that the citizens brought up to me. With your permission, Mr. President, it'll be just a little bit of reading, but if it's okay, I'd like to do that to set the record straight from the GCPD. And I will read fast. Stop me at any time or ask me any questions at all. And this is directly from the GCPD. Coastal Texas project cost estimate has not changed. The estimated project cost in today's dollars remains $34.38 billion project first cost, reflecting the 2023 price level estimated cost of the project if it was constructed today. Congress authorizes projects in current dollars at the time of the authorization, as they do not know when the project will actually be constructed. In the Water Resources Development Act Word of 2022, the Coastal Texas project is authorized at the 2023 price level of $34.38 billion. The $57 billion reported cost estimate reflects inflation impacts over 20 plus years of the assumed construction period on the ultimate project cost, fully funded cost, including all tallied expenses. This figure could vary as funding becomes available and project tasks and segments are completed. The slower a project is funded, constructed over time, the more expensive it will be at completion, accounting for inflation and economic changes. In short, the faster a project is funded and constructed, the less expensive it will be. The current total project cost estimate, $34.38 billion, is 65% federal, 35% non-federal. I'm going to read one component of it because this is what we're mostly concerned about. One component of that number is the Galveston Bay Storm Surge Barrier System, coming in at $31.2 billion. The non-federal sponsor is the Gulf Coast Protection District. The components of that portion of the cost, the Bolivar Road Gate System, the Dune and Beach Systems, Bolivar Peninsula and Peninsula and West Galveston Island, the Galveston seawall improvements, the Galveston ring barrier, the Clear Lake and Dickinson Bay gate systems, and the non-structural releases and measures such as home elevations or flood proofing. So that's one component. I'll be glad to address the others at a later meeting if you so wish. The project sequencing. The 88th Texas legislature appropriated $200 million in anticipation of non-federal share requirements for the Coastal Texas project. The Army Corps of Engineers has $930 million in unallocated federal bipartisan infrastructure law funds. GCPD is seeking $269 million for the first year. The BIL, the bipartisan infrastructure law funding request, is a strategic balance of tasks and presents the quickest path into the construction account of the annual Army Corps of Engineers appropriations process. The $269 million request allows for the following work to start in year one. Bolivar Road Gates systems work on acquisition strategy, the NEPA scoping, and the scoping delivery plan. Number two, the Galveston, Bolivar beaches and dunes, NEPA and sand sourcing. And in years 1 through 3, South Padre Island beach and dune, and completion of eco restoration projects of NEMA. Compliance is completed. Those are the components. So I've talked to you about all of this, but I want to encapsulate it. I'll wrap up. One other point, and they wanted me to emphasize this to the body, because I told them I was asking this to
I've been
report back to
following
you.
it too, and I've been reading.
Pardon?
I've been following it too.
Thank
I've been
you.
reading it. Thank you.
I know you have. Okay, one more. Representative Randy Weber and Representative Hendrick Kralar, House Appropriations Committee member, are taking the lead to coordinate a letter signed by the Texas delegation to OMB expressing specific support for BIL funding. That summarizes everything I've been talking about for the last several months. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Peggy. My only concern is when they say first year, when will that be?
As soon as the money can break loose.
You get it.
Yes,
I
sir.
understand they're setting up the progression, but when are you gonna start?
And that's the key. If we
So
can break
that's
the
that's
BIL.
why I'm trying to reach out to them and get an answer, but I don't have one yet.
Well, if we can get the money with Corps can break that loose, that'll be really important.
I like the answer to the question is we get the money.
It's all about the money, sir.
Does anybody have any questions for Peggy? Board of Directors, Teresa,
I have nothing today. Thanks.
Mr. Gibson.
Houston Flood Control did put an ad in the paper on October 13th for rough grading of FF 1959 with bids due in on November the 14th. And it looks like we are making some progress on that. I'm sorry that last meeting I wasn't quick enough on my feet, but the Wilderness Trail development of 41 lots will have to be platted, and in that will be detention for that subdivision, just like all the rest of them. So the issue of regional detention or on-site detention per lot is not even a question. I wanted to clear that up because we've had several people comment on that.
Ms. Rogers, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Rusty,
Yeah, I'm gonna continue my focus on mitigating the third of Friendswood, focus on this district that floods every single time. Waiting on a big project, our district is compromised of a lot of growth in League City that's Atlas 14 based, and I think we're doing a pretty good job out there of making sure that stuff doesn't flood. But third of Friendswood that floods, I've been saying this for years. I want to focus on that, pressure in the Corps and the feds and the state to get together to help mitigate that is I think our priority in this district. Regional stuff's great. I think we should focus on our district, especially shoving the water down Clear Creek down to the south end and our feeder creeks that are feeding into that. and mitigating that for the people of our district. So I'm going to continue to focus on Friendswood and our district and making sure that what we're doing up in Lake City is going to not contribute to any more flooding down there on those people. That's all I have.
Lonnie?
As Joseph mentioned a little earlier, Jim and I went around with a camera and took some photographs of kind of like before and after. We got the before of like Frenchman's Creek, before they start really dilapidating those structures down there. And also did behind Kroger, 2351. So it's very good. I think we got some good photos. We'll find out.
It looked good.
Thanks, Lonnie. On our next agenda, can we put that I have an excused absence because I thought I had COVID or the doctor thought I had COVID? I think you guys answered all my questions. About the DCM, we're moving forward on our design criteria manual.
Yes, sir.
All I got. We're gonna recess we're gonna go into executive session, and I'll call the meeting to order. The Board of Directors will convene into closed executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.07 discussion regarding real property. And if I could get somebody to autograph the book in there, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you all. So I guess they're gonna.
Just, you know, you're right now.